Alison Dillion-Kibirige, good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody knows a secretary, the one takes notes, takes phone calls from a director. What is the difference between this type of secretary and a company secretary?
Okay, well, a company secretary are usually a profession that's called the chartered secretary, and that profession is for governance professionals, or governance and compliance professionals, they say these days. And basically a governance professional is the person responsible for ensuring good governance. And what we mean by that is ensuring that companies and organisations do the right thing. So not just comply with laws and regulations, but actually go further than that and say what is the right thing to do. So within the job, yes, there are some administrative tasks, but more than that, it's a question of helping directors manage the different relationships between themselves and management, between themselves and external people, the stakeholders, the owners of the organisation, and just making sure that everything works properly together. So that's really the difference.
Why is the post of company secretary important in any organisation?
Well, they say organisations, we were just talking actually before, that organisations need entrepreneurs for the ideas and start-up, but many companies actually fail within the first year. And the reason being that they then don't actually put in the things that they need to have to be sustainable and certainly create value in the long term. And the company secretary's role is to actually help organisations to do that. So what makes an organisation sustainable? So you're looking at kind of three things. One is the structures around the organisation, whether it's how you set up the organisation itself, its board, its management, how the management then puts structures in place, the policies and procedures that you need in an organisation to make an organisation work well, the ethics, the standards that you want an organisation to have. And then following on into the kind of third category, which is the people management, as I've mentioned before, how you help the relationships between the different people within an organisation operate together. So there's a lot of emotional intelligence, rather than if you're a lawyer, you have a kind of technical kind of knowledge that's needed, or an accountant. A lot of the company secretary's work is around emotional intelligence. How do you work with people to get the best out of them and to help a business be sustainable?
Mrs. Allison, you just told an important word. It is emotional intelligence. And how does this come into the company secretary?
Well, you need emotional intelligence to deal with people. And a lot of our job is dealing with people, whether it's people on the boards of directors, whether it's between the chairman and the CEO. And a lot of the time, a lot of our work is around diplomacy, it's around kind of negotiating between different groups of people, because our job is to create effective decision making within an organisation.
I see the title of your course with the MIOD is the Company Secretary, a catalyst for governance and compliances.
Yes.
Where does governance and compliances go into the work of a company secretary?
Well, as I've said to you, company secretaries are governance professionals. And so it's very important that organisations have good governance. And often there's a misconception that governance is something we choose to do or not, when actually the reality is we all do governance. I mean, even in your own home you do governance. Without thinking, you're risk managing, you're allocating roles and responsibilities to people in the home. You have internal controls. You work out, do I lock my door when I leave? How do my children get to school? Do I let them walk or go on a bus, or what do I do? So governance is all around us, and the question is to actually make sure people realise, and in a company, because it's many individuals, is to say, okay, how do we set the standards we need for the level of governance we want?
Alison Dillion-Kibirige.